There was a national prayer service yesterday in D.C. led by Bishop Marion Edgar Budde, who made this plea to the newly elected president. Watch.
Mr. President, millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now.
Scared now? Who?
There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives.
Why should they fear for their life?
And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation.
Look at Eric Trump.
But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
Oh, he didn't like that.
Y'all, you telling him to have mercy on people who are scared. Why is these people scared? Because they've been lied to by the media.
Yeah.
There's no transgender, there's no LGBTQ or Republican or Democrat that should be scared because President Trump is in office.
Yeah.
That's just an absurd thing to say.
Yeah.
Trump did not get the message, and now he's demanding an apology. So here to respond, please welcome Bishop Marion Edgar Budde. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let me ask you this. You seem to have more fearlessness than anyone in Congress right now, ma'am. What made you decide to use that opportunity for this message, or didn't you have any apprehension about it?
My response, thank you, first of all, for allowing me to be with you today. My responsibility that morning, yesterday morning, was to reflect, to pray with the nation for unity. And as I was pondering what are the foundations of unity, I wanted to emphasize respecting the honor and dignity of every human being, basic honesty and humility. And then I also realized that that unity requires a certain degree of mercy and compassion and understanding. And so knowing that a lot of people, as I said, in our country right now are really scared, I wanted to take the opportunity in the context of that of service for unity to say we need to treat everyone with dignity, and we need to be merciful. And I was trying to counter the narrative that is so divisive and polarizing, and in which real people are being harmed.
Okay.
People being
You know,
harmed.
Bishop, I was struck by your tone. You were so gentle, you were so respectful, you were very demure and very mindful. And you said all of this with Trump, J.D. Vance, and their families, including Melania, an immigrant, and Usha Vance, a child of immigrants, sitting
legal
there.
Immigrants?
Right.
And
Legal immigrants. Yeah, stop conflating immigrants with legal. You have to be legal immigrant. These people here illegally. Why should we treat a criminal the same as a legal resident or a legal immigrant? Man, I'm getting upset.
Yeah, I'm finna cuss this woman of God out.
Well, I take the back. Ain't no woman of God. This woman right here, man, I don't
can
know
tell
just by the haircut. She shouldn't be a pastor.
Yeah.
their reactions were very visible for all of us to see. You could see their faces. Were you paying attention to how your message was received by them in that moment? And do you think it sunk in even a little bit?
Nope.
You know, I've been preaching for a long time, and I've long since given up trying to read people's body language as I'm preaching.
Because you have no emotional
I would
intelligence,
be
that's
wrong
why.
most of the time. So I don't know. I was aware that obviously people were listening, but I couldn't allow myself in that moment to I just had to keep going, right? I had what I felt was on my heart to say, and I had to leave it to them, to all of us, to take from whatever my words were, to heart in whichever way they could, and leave, as they say, leave the rest to God.
Bishop, predictably, you seem to strike a nerve. President Trump initially said yesterday it was, quote, not a good service, unquote. But overnight, he took to social media to say you were a, quote, radical left hardline Trump hater, unquote, that you brought the church into politics and that you owe your church and the public an apology. Now, given your role, it doesn't seem...
I'm sorry to stop this again, but where was this energy when Obama was in office?
Yeah.
Out of all the presidents we've ever had, he deported the most people.
Yeah.
Where was this energy then?
Yeah, but more importantly, when someone goes to church, they want to hear you preach the gospel. They don't want to hear your politics.
Yeah.
When you start preaching politics, you're no longer a pastor. You're no longer a bishop. You're no longer a priest.
You're no longer a church.
You're no longer a person of God.
surprising that you would speak out for the...
Well, you can still be a person of God if you're a conservative. But if you're Democrat, you're no longer...
If it's outside the boundaries of biblical references, then you're not a pastor or a priest or anything. You're not a person of God. You can't take the Bible and spin it to fit your own agenda.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she did.
Yeah.
For the marginalized, as anyone who's read the Bible and knows the path of Jesus. But do you think your message is being misconstrued and politicized?
It's being politicized.
Ooh,
It's a political message.
well, sure. Yeah. But I think if you read what I said, and I mean, how could it not be politicized, right? We're in a hyper political climate. One of the things I caution about is the culture of contempt in which we live that immediately rushes to the worst possible interpretations of what people are saying and to put them in categories
It's our fault. We make it
such as the ones you've just described. That's part of the air we breathe now. And I was trying to speak a truth that I felt needed to be said, but to do it in as respectful and kind a way as I could. And also to bring other voices into the conversation, which voices that had not been heard in the public space for some time.
And Bishop, given that we live in such a divided time as you've reflected on, and knowing how this message might be received by Trump supporters, I wonder if your words may have had more impact if they were shared one-on-one with the president, and was there an opportunity to have that conversation?
Exactly.
I've never been invited into a one-on-one conversation with President Trump.
Okay.
And I
want to.
I would welcome that opportunity. I have no idea how that would go. I can assure him and everyone listening that I would be as respectful as I would with any person, and certainly of his office, for which I have a great deal of respect. But the invitation would have to come from him.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. He's at your church. You pretty much bad-mouthing him and his family, his politics, his policies, his administration. You're saying people are scared and it's his fault. Yeah, he's in your church, and you don't think if you just simply asked for a one-on-one conversation with him, he wouldn't have gave it to you? I mean, he is a man of God.
Yeah.
That's why he's in church.
Yeah.
Instead, you tried to make this a political statement.
Yeah.
To make Trump, his family, his administration look bad.
Yeah.
By painting all of them something that they are not.
Yeah, I think she's being disingenuous. I think you had ulterior motives before you even got there.
Yeah.
To make yourself look good in front of your progressive, your liberal people that follow you. You want someone, man, you're just looking for, I think you're clout chasing.
Bishop, as part of their crackdown on immigration, the Trump administration has already overturned policies to now allow ICE to go into what have been deemed legally sensitive areas.
Why are y'all talking to a bishop about this?
Yeah. Hey, look, you know what?
Why don't y'all talk to her about abortion?
Yeah.
Why don't y'all talk about that?
Yeah, this is like so out of our purview. Like these raids that's going to be taking place to get rid of illegal immigrants out of our country. Like, if you're a criminal, the government has a right to locate you and arrest you. Like, if I break the law, I skip court, or I'm a fugitive from justice, They have a right to come in our areas and arrest me.
Yeah.
Why are y'all giving these people that's here in our country illegally a pass because they might be in a church, a hospital, or anywhere at home? I mean, it don't make no sense.
Yeah, I want y'all to talk to her about abortion. But y'all not. This is a smear campaign on Trump, his administration, his supporters.
Yeah, I wouldn't deny that y'all in cahoots with one another.
Yeah, where they are now.
As a woman of the cloth, how do you feel that the church, which has been a place of sanctuary since at least 511, and it actually predates Christianity to Roman and Greek times, that the church is no longer viewed that way by some?
Right. It's heartbreaking on one level. Let me be clear that it was never encoded in law. Any of the police officers and officials could come into our churches if they felt they had just cause. Now, they would need a warrant. They would need all the legal requirements to enter into such spaces, private spaces, as they would be necessary elsewhere, because churches are public spaces. They could go into them always. But you are right. It has been a practice. It has been an unwritten policy that there are some places, and particularly churches, schools, and other places where all sorts of
Policy does not trump law.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt if they had the authority in churches, they would actually hide these people. We use their churches as sanctuary to protect illegal immigrants.
Especially this church. I want to hear y'all talk about abortion.
sorts of people gather to create a sense of safety and to allow people's basic human and spiritual needs to be met. We have a lot of churches in our particular denomination that are that meet the needs of immigrants and other vulnerable populations, and we need now to be especially mindful and to make sure that basic human rights are protected and people's needs can be met. And we will continue to do that work.
Thank you so much for showing people what empathy looks like. Thank you very much. Our thanks to Bishop Marion
Thank you.
Edgar Budde. There was a national prayer service yesterday in D.C.
Crazy,
led by...
man. Yeah, that's more, I mean, the people that are scared, and I don't deny people are scared simply because people are stupid and gullible and they believe anything they hear on TV, but that's not an indictment on Trump's administration. That's an indictment on the liberal press. Y'all been lying about this man, saying he's a threat to democracy, that he's Hitler, and all these crazy, absurd mischaracterizations. I mean, that's an indictment on you people, not him. And then you're going to have him come to church and blame him for the people that's scared.
Yeah. If you're in the country illegally,
You don't have a right to be here.
You don't have a right to be here. How about the compassion for the American citizen?